I realized on my 50th birthday that I've been an adult significantly longer than I've been a child. And that's a very upsetting reality. I just wanted to go to the zoo, the whole thing. And I love that zoo. When I was a kid, I'd go to St. George Zoo every Sunday after church. I liked getting chocolate ice cream at orangutan alley stand and balloons. I liked how when I was so small on my birthdays, having so many balloons would make me feel like I would get pulled up to outer space. As a child, I liked living with my parents, and in the afternoons when they'd bring me to the zoo and to get ice cream. I wanted to be an astronaut. And late at night, past my bedtime, they'd carry my tired body into my bed. I'd let them kiss me on the forehead, and I'd have happy adventures with my brother, still soft spoken and stainless from shame. I miss those days so much. But one day I realized people die. Someday my dad would go, then my mom, and then me. Life wouldn't be chocolate ice cream every day and bedtime tuck-ins. I eventually went to school. I stopped going to the zoo. When I got my report card back to discover I had gotten the C's, I realized I couldn't be an astronaut. I muscled my way through youth. So when I really had to say goodbye to my parents, I was so alone, more than ever. Then you wake up and you have to put on a shirt and tie instead of a spacesuit, so you can't go to the zoo. Your friends are gone and there's no one to tuck you in. Now you just feel really empty and scared and angry, and you wonder where time has gone. But you wake up for 4 years and you go to that job selling car insurance, and you wake up and look in the mirror and look away because it's really your fault. You're too lazy to have said or done anything, and you made your bed and now you have to lie in it. And the silence suffocates, and you can't cry. You cannot cry. And you don't know if you can bear it for much longer. And you've had And so you end up alone in a bar at only 29, and there's a girl next to you with your mother's eyes. And it comforts you, because the memory is all you have, and you wish you had had more time with your mom and dad, but now your girlfriend's pregnant, and you get married, and the realization that you're gonna be a daddy to a little boy fills you up, because you get to see the zoo again, and you could breathe again, and that you're having your child when you're 30, so he won't have to cry in bed when he's 10, knowing that his parents aren't gonna die 15 years later. And thank God he won't have to be 25, alone with no one, crying every night for a year until crying to childhood photos feels more like self-pity than mourning. And where did Eli go? He wanted to become a firefighter, but he OD'd when he was 22. I couldn't even say goodbye when he was in the hospital. Mom had to call when I was in college, so I was so wrapped up in my dumb paper that I missed the first 2 calls about my brother's death. And when I realized that Eli was gone, and that the last time I told him I loved him was when he was 12, and the last time we spoke, I was 20. That's why I so desperately told you not to do drugs, because I can't tell Eli to. I just wanted to. I went to the zoo that day after he died, and I had chocolate ice cream. And thank God I had you, because I needed that zoo and that ice cream and your mother's eyes. But when your mom died, when God, that sick bastard took her from me, his eyes were gone, and the zoo was closed, and you went off to college. I went back to my bed feeling old and alone, feeling like the feeling of being loved was stripped from you, a feeling that you never get used to. And for the first time in 20 years, I cried. And now I can't stop. And I loved her. I did. And all I ever wanted was not to feel alone.
Dad?